And welcome to the April 7th School Committee. Chairperson Powers is absent this evening. I will start with a roll call for, start with a roll call. Ms. Briggs? Here. I am here. Mr. Underhill?
Here.
Ms. Stradis?
Present.
Mr. Mulaney's here. And we also have Shailene Volpe here. And I'm going to go ahead and read the announcement. This meeting is being recorded and can be viewed on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 37. All meeting videos are also posted to the Millis Public Schools website under School Committee. All videos are also available on YouTube. All school committee minutes and agendas can be found on the school committee page of the MPS website. Persons wishing to speak during open session must sign in before the meeting starts. Comments are not to exceed 3 minutes in time. Individuals may not name students, staff, or parents. All topics for discussion must be limited to those items listed on this evening's agenda, and all comments must be directed to the chair. The committee may not respond to public comments. It shall be their decision to discuss issues at a later date. All times are approximate. Do we have anyone for open session? No. Okay, thank you. We're going to start with our student representative, Jocelyn.
Good evening, everyone. Last Monday, the art club visited the senior center and led a watercolor painting project. Last week, there were some fun game-related senior projects that brought community members together. Mr. X Physics, Engineer Your World, and Environmental Science classes did some very fun projects. In chemistry today, groups made magnesium oxide, including mine. This past Friday and Saturday, but also this Friday and Saturday, is the Millis Theater Group's production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's a wonderful show, and people of all ages are in it. Terpsichore's spring show is next month on May 8th. Tomorrow, the school is hosting an ice cream social for 8th grade step-up night, and representatives of high school clubs will be there to recruit incoming freshmen. Looking further to next Thursday, the Europe trip is coming up and includes destinations like Italy, France, and Spain. And the week after that, we have April break. Softball and baseball teams had games yesterday, but unfortunately lost. Girls tennis had a match yesterday. However, there is a track meet tonight, and boys tennis play today, so good luck to everyone on those teams, and that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, what's magnesium oxide?
It's like magnesium ribbons, and then you put it on the fire, and then it turns to white ash.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but good answer.
Whether she's right or not, she's very confident in
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
Well, I can say with authority, she is correct. We're all set.
Now we'll have teacher representative Ms. Copese.
We'll follow up on the magnesium oxide because it was really funny. We had 4 lab groups, and you have to sand the magnesium before you do it, because the magnesium will form a coating, which is basically a ceramic, so the temp to get it to ignite goes way, way, way higher. So 3 of my groups did a very good job of sanding their magnesium. One of my groups did not do as good of a job. They're like, why is ours not going? Why is ours not going? I was like, well, look up the flash point on magnesium oxide. So they look it up. They're like, there isn't one. I said, exactly. This is never going to burn unless. So then they got to dip their fire in, and it was super exciting. So, but yeah.
Is that what they use when they like make fire, like a flint? Is that magnesium oxide?
No, I think that a flint is actually a rock. So the magnesium oxide is what they used to use in the old-fashioned light bulbs, like for the flash bulbs for
Okay.
like cameras.
Okay.
So it burns like a very, very bright, but it has a pretty high spark point. So you do have to like,
have to get some-
you know, like on the cameras they'd have like the electrical current go through the battery. We were using a Mecca burner today, which is like a Bunsen burner times 20. So
Okay.
it like is about 20 times as hot as a Bunsen burner. So, which is kind of fun to. It's got like it looks like the top of it has all the holes in it, so it kind of looks like a fly's eye, but with flames shooting out of all the holes.
Cool.
So it's nifty.
Well, fire department's not that far away, so it's good.
Okay, I would like to go on record saying it has never been my class that has required the fire department to
Knock
come.
on wood.
So,
Fire extinguisher training is fun too.
fire extinguisher training is fun. I actually can use a fire hose. My dad trained me when I was little, so all good. He was a firefighter. Okie dokie. So from the Clyde Brown, the preschool enjoyed a visit from Hang on, nope, we have one, somebody jumped one online here. CFB Speech and Language Department has had 2 graduate student clinicians from the Emerson College this semester. It has been a great experience for everyone, and Emerson has asked if we would be interested in having another student join us in the fall. So that is always exciting. Students in grade 3, 4, and 5 had ELA MCAS last week and this week, and they did a great job, and we're excited to have some makeups tomorrow and Friday, and that's an adventure. Miss Elaine visited the preschool and the kindergarten last week, which is always a fun time for the younger students. And the parents and guardians were attending conferences with the classroom teachers during all the early release days the last week of March. They have a senior from Xaverian High School, Marcus Reyes, who began his senior service project at Clyde Brown this week. Marcus will be volunteering at Clyde Brown each week until May and will be supporting students in classrooms and facilitating games at recess. Sky Bamba and Lisa Malloy will be holding a Spanish immersion information night for the families of students interested in applying to the immersion program. It will be next Thursday, April 16th at 6:30 p.m. in the cafeteria for kindergarten families. Ms. Bamba and Ms. Malloy have also held a kindergarten information session earlier in the March that culminated with a tour of the school. From the middle school, the students have worked really hard to shine on the 6th grade ELA MCAS on Monday and Tuesday, and now they're going to head back to reading Among the Hidden. 6th grade science is finishing up their unit on Earth's interior and exterior, and the Spanish students are enjoying asking and answering questions about what they do with their free time. In immersion, they are learning how to conjugate irregular verbs in the past tense. And in social studies, they are wrapping up their unit on Oceania. So they're going to make a 1-page poster to demonstrate their newfound knowledge on the indigenous tribes of the Aboriginal Australians and the Maori tribes. In grade 8, they are starting reading Lewis Lowry's The Giver, and they are getting all pumped up for ELA MCAS. At the high school, we wrapped up course selection today. So the students have all met one-on-one with their guidance counselors to go over their choices and their ideas for it in grades 10, 11, and 12. And then obviously after the 8th grade transition night that Jocelyn mentioned. So the 8th graders will also be meeting with Miss Dunn last block tomorrow, and a couple of freshman teachers will pop in to kind of give them a preview on the difference in the levels of the coursework. Transition night will be tomorrow night, and then shortly thereafter, Power School will open up the recs for the 8th grade students, at which point we'll be able to move forward with high school scheduling and all that kind of fun stuff. Solo Ensemble and the Arts Night will be next week on Wednesday. So from 5 to 7 will be the all-school art show in the cafeteria, which is really a fun time. And then the Solo Ensemble concert, which is a primarily student-led and directed production. Ms. Norton and Ms. Stallnacher just sort of provide the support. I got to sub in for Miss Norton last week, and a bunch of the band kids sort of played through their pieces. And I will tell you that even 2 weeks ago, it was sounding pretty exciting. And I know that like Finn Jehu and David Maz are playing like an original composition, and that happens sort of quite regularly. So I think it's going to be a fun show. We have an early release day coming up next week on Friday for professional development activities. And in elementary science, we were in Miss Migos' class for inclined planes yesterday, and we have Miss Tashin's class coming tomorrow to do emission spectroscopy and understanding light and color. So we do a fun light show in the auditorium where they get to use filters, and then we'll come back to my room, get the burners lit, and we'll be burning the ions of calcium, barium, copper, lithium, sodium, and potassium. So that'll be kind of a fun day for us tomorrow. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Busy, busy.
Okay, we're going to move on to action items. Up first, we have, I'll take a motion to approve the March 24th meeting minutes.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underhill?
I move that we approve the meeting minutes from March 24th as written.
Second. The motion's been moved and seconded. Anyone have any further discussion? Okay. All right. All those in favor? Aye. And the motion carries. Consideration to approve the middle school baseball team to travel to Mount St. Charles Academy in Woonsocket, Rhode Island to play baseball games.
And this is similar to what we did in the winter, the basketball team going Mount St. Charles. Anytime we can get games for our middle school teams, Sometimes you have to travel a little further, but it's good for them to get the games in.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Briggs?
I make a motion to approve the middle school baseball team to be able to travel to Woonsocket, Rhode Island, to Mount St. Charles Academy.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. And the motion carries. Okay, and then the last action item is consideration to approve the proposed fee changes to transportation and athletics.
Have Ms. Volpe present.
So I thought I'd start off with the athletics. So in looking at the trend on the athletic fees, it looked as though we had a really healthy surplus that we were starting with at the end of, or the beginning of FY26. In looking at the expenditures that were done FY24 and 25, it looked as though, well, it happened to be that the salaries that were supposed to be charged to the revolving funds weren't. So the way it's supposed to work is the JV coaches and the middle school coaches are charged from the athletic fees, and the varsity coaches are paid from the general fund. So for 2 years, that didn't happen. So obviously, we had this surplus that we were really excited about. This year, we did what was supposed to be done, which is we charged the salaries to where they were supposed to go. And it still looks as though we have a surplus, but when you really look at the net, we're losing money we'll be losing money a little bit every year, because we're just not taking in enough income to offset the cost. So it dips into the surplus that we have built up. So there's a couple other things that I've noticed that we have to keep in mind, that we carry about 10% of fee waivers for students, and so that's been staying around 10%. So the cost per student really is a little bit lower than what we're paying, because you have to put it across all the kids. And participation levels have definitely reduced. In FY25, we had 610 participants, and this year we had 529. That could change, obviously, as you know. I know we have a couple big. Is it the 6th grade class, Mr. Mulaney? That's really big. So I think that it will get better, but it's not going to be enough to help with this, the issue. So we have some choices. We can, in order to continue to make sure that we don't keep going through a deficit, we have to, at the very least, bare minimum, increase the fees by the COLA, because the athletic coaches, they get a step every year. So we don't have to dip into our general fund. It's not necessarily going to be stabilize our athletic revolving fund, but it would at least you dip a little bit less into it. The other option is to increase a little bit more than the COLA to kind of chip away at the current deficit. So my calculation of our deficit at the end of the year is $27,850. So if we increase the fees 5% next year, 4% the year after, and then figure it out by FY29, maybe we only have to do it by the COLA, because we would have right-sided, a little bit, increased in participation, so maybe we could keep it just the COLA increase. But you can see the net surplus deficit cuts down a little bit each time. So in FY27, we'd be a negative 22,000. In FY '28, we'd be negative 19,000. And that's keeping like registration the same and the free, percentage the same. I recommend that we do option number 2. I think that the other thing that we could do creatively is, right now, we have a family cap of $936, and that's basically 4 seasons. So like a family of 2, if they have a family of 2 and those kids do 3 seasons each, the parents are only paying for 4 seasons. So what if we raised it to a 5-season cap? We might be able to generate a little bit more money that way as well, because generally the kids do more than 1 season, and if it's a family of 2, you'll make at least a little bit more money. And in the packet, I also included, Mr. Finney gave me the districts that he knew of and the fees. And I highlighted in blue the schools that were lower, that we were lower than. So it looks as though their family caps, I know Medway does 5 seasons, their family cap is 5 seasons. But even their 1 season price for 1 child, there's a lot of schools that are still ahead of us, even if we increased it by the 5%, which would be $248 per season. So that is my recommendation. I know it's hard to increase fees, but at the very least, we're giving our coaches a COLA. There's no way around not increasing at least the COLA. And I don't believe we increased fees last year, from what I could see. I don't believe we did. And we have a good chunk of money that we don't want to just keep dipping into it until now we have a program that's not self-sustaining.
Right. Can you tell me what the savings would be if we increase the family cap to 5 seasons versus what the numbers are that you have here?
I can calculate that out for you,
Okay.
and I'll get that to you.
I'm not saying that we definitely want to do that, but like I can't compare this to what that
What
would be,
we would
which
get
would be
if,
better
I
for
can
that.
ask Mr. Finney to give me, because he has all the data,
Yeah.
and we don't have to decide this today.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is I'll get you all that information, I'll do the projections, and then you guys can kind of sit on it
Yeah.
and decide what you want to do.
That would
I'm
be
not
great.
saying that that's necessarily the answer, but like having that
To have
information
that.
would be good.
I
mean,
agree, because maybe we do the COLA and then just that. That could be an option too, or we don't
I
go
mean,
as high.
if we do that option that you're suggesting, right now, if we do the first option, it's only increasing $42 for a family to have their kid in for 3 seasons. But if we do the other one, it's actually going to increase like the $240 extra for the family. So again, like I'm not saying that
Yeah,
this
let's
is the
do both
solution, but I
scenarios.
want
Yeah.
to see like how that might work out, because we don't want to burden families with more money if we don't have to. I
No,
guess if
because
there
it
are
just
other
should be a self-sustaining program as opposed to, we're not trying to make money off of this program.
Right.
We're just need to pay for the coaches, the JV, and the middle school. That's the goal.
Right. Yep.
And again, in an ideal world, these coaches' salaries would come out of our operating budget, would come
Right.
out of our general
Right.
fund. But right now, we are not in an ideal world.
Right. The other thing too that we might want to think about is just doing a increase for next year and seeing like where that leads us, and not doing 2 years right now, because the 6th grade class is bigger, more
Yeah.
kids are able to do it, to see like how that might play out too.
Yeah.
Just food for thought on that.
And there's plenty, not plenty, but there's a buffer in the revolving fund.
There is.
So it takes 2 years for us to reach.
There is,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
So it's not something that has to be decided now. So I'll get that information for
Okay.
you.
That would be
You
great.
guys can work on it and then just decide. all different ways we can do it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you for putting
Thank
it
you.
together.
So now we'll talk about, these aren't fun topics.
No, it's okay. Oh,
That's
but this
okay.
is what we're here
Yes.
for. Budget, all these things.
Increase. So, our bus situation, as we know, first of all, I just want to make sure that the distinction is, we're talking about the big yellow buses. So the cost we're talking about is only big yellow.
Okay.
None of the special education cost is involved in any of this analysis.
Okay.
And the issue that I'm seeing is that it looks as though every year the revolving account sort of supplements 24% of the cost. It doesn't absorb all of it, it's just around 24%. Last year, we didn't have enough, and we had to do, I had to do a balance transfer from the general fund to pay off. It was like only $16,000, but it just wasn't enough to cover it. So that was last year. We know the fees are gonna go up because of just gas and maintenance, and they are having we're negotiating a new contract. So, having said that, I'm suggesting that we increase our fees a little bit. If we don't, the revenue is pretty flat. It stays about 100,000. It seems to have stayed about 100,000 in FY '24, '25, and '26. So there's really no reason for me to think we only have 6 buses. It can only hold a certain amount. And we have a good amount of children who, if they live outside of 2 miles, it's free. So there's a pretty good list of free students. So,
Is that the only reason that a kid can ride the bus for free?
if they qualify for.
Well, I just meant like that's the only stipulation. They have to live X amount of part. It's not like there's no sidewalk, so the kid can't walk to
No,
school.
none of that, no.
No, but
It's
there is-
purely mileage. If they
and
qualify for
for
free or
free and
reduced,
reduced.
Yeah, sure. I was
that's
just wondering if
different.
there were any.
Yes, so, and then once you reach 7th grade, it doesn't matter, you have to pay.
Okay.
So, and that's the state law, so we stay with what the state
Yep,
says
yep.
that we can do.
And Shalene, the 2
Yes.
miles, like, that's calculated by our software, right?
It is. It's not like a diagonal.
Yeah, sure.
It's done by the software. And we do have parents that have called, because Google Maps might say something a little different, and we work it out, and, because there are those families that they're like right on the, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if we increase our fees, we would make a little more money, and we would be able to stay at that 24%, basically, of coverage that they can help supplement. The grid that I gave you guys kind of shows where we are and how much of an increase it actually would be. So on the chart, it shows surrounding schools and what they charge for a person, and then what they charge for a Family Max. I think that our FY '27 numbers, I'm gonna ignore the early registration, because there is a little bit of a discount, so that kind of plays into it. But the standard fee that you would pay, I'm suggesting $13 more, and then for the family cap, $25 more. Or for the second child, $25 more. In the past, we've only done first child is a price, and the second child is the family cap. I'm suggesting that maybe we add $20 for that third child. So the family cap would be the third child.
Is it
The
common?
third child at $20.
At $20, yep.
How many families do we have that have more than 2 kids that ride the bus?
We have quite a few. Yeah.
Like, is it worth? I guess, like, is it worth it to do that based on the number of families that we have for that?
I think right now, because of the deficit, any little bit can help.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could calculate how many kids, but we do have quite a few families that have 3 and 4 kids.
I would agree, it's important to at least maintain that 24%.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
I'm
think
going
You know,
for.
that, we're already, the school's putting money in above and beyond.
Yeah, totally.
costs.
And this is optional. You don't have to send your kid on the bus.
Right.
It's a service that we provide.
And if you see on the grid that I have, this grid here, this is showing the surrounding schools. And it does look like it's a mixed bag, but if we just look at the family cap of 735, there's schools that are higher than that, and then there's schools that are lower. And it's hard to find a school that's exactly our match, but Bob and I went through the list and we got schools that were surrounding us.
We are the most expensive on that list for
Can
one
you,
kid
I know.
to ride the
believe
bus.
that.
Do we know if the family max on those other schools is at the 3rd child?
I don't
or-
know the answer to that, but I can find out.
Okay.
How many people do we have, would you say, that does the early registration versus the standard registration?
But yeah, it used to be not many. Now I would say about half.
Do we consider, like, what would, I love an early bird registration. I'm an early bird
Yeah.
person. But do we know if the cost difference of that is what would allow us to not have a
I
deficit?
know what you mean. So we don't have to have an early bird, but we need the money early. So
Okay.
right now, our revenue, if I was to show you what our revenue is for this year, it's $25,000. That's all we've gotten, because you get it through the summer, and then there's like, you get trickles of it, $25,000 of it into FY26.
Okay.
So we do the early registration so we can get all the money. We get about $100,000. It helps pay,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, that revolving account. So it's
Sure.
kind of a
So I get it.
cheat.
Yeah,
Yes,
human
yes.
nature being what it is.
Right.
If you don't have that early bird discount, well then, we'd be getting a lot on the last day.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could make the last day June 15th.
That's what we are doing, but it's kind of like if you miss the early bird, there's no rush.
Okay. Okay.
So then they're calling in August, and so that's why we put first come first serve, or
Yeah.
you don't get guaranteed a
Yeah.
spot and all
Yeah.
that.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
should
Do
know
we-
this 'cause my wife, but my wife signs the kids up. What is the early bird discount?
So
It's like $10.
up at the top, if you look at
Get it before,
It was a,
It's
it's like
before June 15th.
$30
$30, yeah.
about. Maybe even a little bit more with the max.
So the other districts that you compared to,
Yeah.
do they all own their buses, or are those like contracted services? Or does that not matter? Like,
I don't know.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
most of, like Framingham they own their buses.
because Needham doesn't. They have 2,
Mm,
but then they contract out. That's on there. So I was just curious if like
mm.
the towns that contract out, which ones are those, and if they're.
Yeah, I'd like Medway contracts out their big buses. And some of these districts are bigger, so they do have the economy of scale.
Right,
I-
right.
I will
We
say.
don't have that,
I
for
will
sure.
say,
I'm not suggesting that we contract
yeah,
out at all.
I mean,
I'm just
we've-
curious.
No, it's a
We've
good
looked at
conversation.
it before, as you know, Ron.
Yeah.
And, just thinking of what's happened in the news in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, we kind of like having our drivers, knowing our drivers.
100%. I wasn't
And,
suggesting
yeah.
that we change. I was just curious on the
Yeah, if it made
which
a
ones, if it
change
changed
of
the
cost or anything.
And I do know Framingham they used to contract out for all their buses, and a couple of years ago, they brought it back in-house because they weren't having a success with buses coming in on time and things like that.
Yeah, okay.
So I just did the calculation for the early bird registration. I don't know why I keep saying early bird, but
No, it's just- that's
early
okay.
bird special at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I jam. So for a standard registration, first child 363. A
Yes.
first child for early registration is 326. That's a difference of $37. So
Okay.
almost $40.
Yeah,
And then for the second child family cap at standard is $690, early registration $622. That's $68. Almost $70. I mean, should we
Should maybe
close the
we-
gap on
Sure.
those? Because I mean, I know for softball, we probably only do it early registration and save like $20.
okay,
You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
more.
yep,
I don't like to raise fees at all. I'm a parent that has 2 children in the elementary school, but we need to fund this
Yep.
somehow. And if we can do that, maybe closing the gap a little bit on the early registrations.
Do you think that will deter people from registering early, which is what they need?
So even the $20 with like say softball, I'm on it. I don't know about other families
Yeah.
because $20 is $20 when you have,
Yeah.
especially more than one
and
kid
these
in
rates,
this.
the FY '26, we can definitely change what we want for FY '27 and make it a smaller gap, and I can do some math around that and see where we end up.
Can we possibly see what these other schools, if they offer that early registration, how big their gap
A
is?
lot of them did, but when I compared with, that's why I said at the beginning, the early registration
Yeah.
stuff, like kind of put that aside, because the numbers I'm showing you is not the early registration numbers.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll go back and do a little bit of that. We're going to have to do, I think, an increase at the, because we just don't know where our costs are gonna
Right.
go, the
Sure.
fuel and
Right.
everything
Right.
else is just
Yes.
crazy.
For sure.
But being creative and
Yeah.
kind of manipulating it a little bit different, if we can help in that way.
How many kids do we have that ride the bus? Do you know?
So, yep, we have 555 kids this year. And we're maxed out, which is unfortunate. There's just not a lot of room, specifically on Clyde Brown.
Yeah.
And we barely have enough bus drivers to just do the 6.
Right.
So, it would be great if we could get another bus. I actually think that we could, utilize it, but.
And again, we
Finding bus drivers is tricky though.
yes.
I drive by a bus company every day on the way to school, and they have a huge flag outside hiring.
Drivers want it.
We will teach you, yes, all of the
Yes.
things. Yes.
Yeah, and we have one of our drivers is a trainer, and she trains, but sometimes what happens is you train the person and then they don't necessarily stay.
Yeah.
Training's gonna leverage it.
And then, which is unfortunate.
Can I
We
ask
should,
a
like, write
question
in
about
they
that
have to work
person?
for a year or something.
Yeah,
Yes, I know. Commitment, right? The person who is trained, can we outsource?
that's a conversation that it just was brought
That
up
to
2
other
weeks ago.
schools.
If she's interested in
idea.
doing that, we could, it wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting and I had mentioned that we have our own trainer, and the person said to me, you could actually, that's a,
Revenue source.
Revenue source,
Yeah.
that would be,
Yep.
so,
something
because
to
she could
consider.
do a large class, so that's in the
Okay.
works, we're talking about
Okay,
it.
great.
But that was excellent, because someone else had
She
brought
can
that
train
up.
all the seniors.
Yeah.
I don't think I want the seniors driving the bus.
Well, not now.
Would they
Not
have
till
That's a
next year.
maturity that you
Driving
need.
around the parking
Not till
lots.
next year.
I think we've had them crossing guards. That way.
You can train all the teachers. It could be a PD day.
There you
oh
go.
gosh.
I just have one more question. So you said we have 555 riders on the bus. How many of those are either family cap or like fee waived? Do you know how many?
I have those numbers, I just don't have them
Okay,
with me.
I'm just trying to do
But
some
I
math.
know I do,
wanna-
and I need the numbers in order to do the end of year report, so
Yeah.
they're easily accessible.
Okay, so maybe in
Okay.
the next round, if you could like
Yep,
just
I'll get
put
you that
those in so we
information.
can
Yes.
crunch
Yep,
numbers too.
yep. So again, like, we're not putting out
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
registration right now or
Yes,
anything, I'm just kind of
yes.
throwing it out there.
Okay.
And and we'll go from there. So I'll get you guys that information.
Thank you for doing
Table
that.
this until-
Yeah.
Sure.
Any other questions you have about? Okay,
Thanks, Ellen.
thank you.
Thank
for your time.
you. Okay, now we're going to move on to time and learning, the NEA SC Collaborative Conference Report.
Thanks. Yep, so we, Ms. Copese can chime in at any point she likes. Last month, we had the New England Association of Schools and Colleges Collaborative Conference. A visiting team came to our high school, and Mr. Nash spoke about it a few weeks ago in preparation, and just basically on March 3rd and 4th, we had 5 people from high schools all around New England coming to visit us. Prior to that, the staff worked very hard to complete a self-study report, which they shared with the visiting team before their arrival, and the visiting team came the 3rd and 4th, and they just submitted their final report on the collaborative conference. And that report identifies our alignment with the NEAS standards, areas of focus for the accreditation visit, which will occur sometime in 2028. We don't have a date yet. Commendations and recommendations. And again, just a refresher, in case you didn't remember from when Mr. Nash was here, the 5 standards of accreditation for NEASC are learning culture, student learning, professional practices, learning support, and learning resources. NEASC uses those 5 standards to determine accreditation for schools. And through our self-assessing report, our self-evaluation, and the visiting team's conclusions, 3 areas of focus were identified to work on while for the next couple of years. When they come back, they're going to be looking at curriculum, documentation, and alignment, standardizing curriculum maps, updating curriculum maps, scope and sequence, things like that. Vertical articulation of our curriculum across grade levels, and our facilities and resources. They were very pleased to know that our building project has passed the voting and will be underway shortly, but certainly they want to make sure we're continuing to keep this building maintained and our safety protocols in place while we await the construction of our new facility and our renovation of the high school. Commendations, the committee was impressed with the high school's inclusive culture, interdisciplinary opportunities, and they specifically mentioned the sophomore research project and senior project, our ability to support students and personalize instruction, innovative opportunities, and since Ms. Copese is here, one of the things, the courses they were really impressed with is the science class that goes into the elementary school and has the elementary school come here, and they burn things, and they thought that was very innovative. And they thought the professional collaboration that occurs among our staff was noteworthy. Some of their recommendations, establish a curriculum review cycle, a regular cycle when we're looking at curriculum. That has been very challenging as a result of budget cuts we've made over the past few years. We haven't been able to fund those curriculum review cycles, so it's something, it's aspirational for us to continue to work towards that. Strengthen our community partnerships, have our students more out there in the community. I think a great example was the art students going over to the senior center and working with the seniors, and develop a process to communicate individual and school-wide progress towards our 4 C's, communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and character. So those are the areas that we're going to be focusing on. Those things are going to be informing our professional development and school improvement for the next couple of years, and we will have our accreditation visit either in the fall, either in the spring of 2028 or the fall of 28. So either 27, 28 or 28, 29 school years, they'll be back. And have a visit that determines whether we maintain our accreditation.
I hope it's in the fall because then our building will be almost
be
done.
almost-
I know.
On its way.
Yep. I've always liked the fall ones anyhow because it's the new school year.
Yeah, that's true.
But whenever they come, I'm sure
Yeah.
we will show well.
It sounds like a lot of work went in from the staff to putting this all together, because I know that Mr. Nash shared with us that the visiting chair said to him that he has been doing those types of visits for a long time, and that our school wrote one of the best reports that that person's ever read. And that is saying so much about the collaboration and care that went into it. And I know that they received a lot of feedback from other committee members. So that's,
Yeah. The high school staff did a fantastic job. And Mr. Nash did a great job organizing, doing the logistics.
thank you to all of them for their hard work on that.
I think that's it for time on learning.
Okay. Next up, we have the chair report. And do we have an MSBA update?
Fontaine is kind of working on the stuff
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, they've been out and about.
I'm sure they've out and about. And you said they were going to be here during April vacation week, doing some more checks and stuff and looking at stuff while the kids aren't here and teachers aren't here.
We're going to be digging some test pits. You may see cones around the schoolyard and near the parking lots and things. They're going to be doing some digging, working with the town DPW to do soil samples and all those things. So.
And I
I
think
think we have a meeting this week too.
I think on one of our last calls, there was discussion with Fontaine about if
Or
they
next week we have a meeting, sorry.
should have to go to an abutter. There will be clear communication and all of that out to the community so that no one, is caught
See
up
someone
off
walking
guard.
in
Mhm.
their yard.
Yeah.
And we did have an issue with that, with some of our early work before, just during the feasibility study. So,
Yes, so the school building committee, I know, made a point to tell them, make sure that the communication is made with, notice. Notice.
Yeah.
and just to make everyone aware, when we do have outside people coming on campus, and once construction starts and we have some subcontractors coming, all of those folks will be coordinated
Great,
by us.
very important, thank you.
We have a meeting next week to discuss more and see kind of where they're at, but it's kind of just going right now into the design phase still.
Great,
Testing.
great, thank you. And next we have the superintendent's report, the education cooperative tech Q2 financial report, and the FY27 proposed budget.
So the education cooperative, their quarter 2 financial report continues to show the strong financial position of the collaborative. Their enrollment in most of their programs has exceeded what they budgeted for, and in most cases they've been able to cover that extra enrollment with the personnel they have. So strong financially. As far as the FY27 budget, there's some revenue that it'll be the last time that the collaborative gets the revenue from renting out part of the facility on Walpole to the online school, TECA. TECA is going to be leaving the premises. And also, TECA paid a sponsorship fee to Tech to use their name, so they're not going to be TECA anymore. I don't know what their name is going to be. So this will be the last year. FY27 will be the last year. Tech will be getting that sponsorship money. So there will be, financially, there'll be a loss of revenue in those areas, but the Student Data Privacy Alliance, the SDPA that Tech runs, has really been a solid source of revenue for the collaborative. The SDPA negotiates privacy agreements with all kinds of software companies and businesses that do business with schools to make sure that they adhere to privacy standards. And the SDPA is so good that other states are joining and having TECA, having the Tech SDPA work in their states.
That's great.
So yeah, it's been really a source of, an innovative way to add a revenue source to the collaborative in addition to the tuitions and the sponsorships and memberships. So Tech is doing quite well, and we benefit greatly from that association. Also, just a curriculum and instruction director update. We have our finalists coming in this week for interviews. We had one finalist in today, and we're having those interviews and site visits until Thursday. The candidates meet with the administrative team, meet with some of the administrative assistant for EL and the curriculum department, met with me, and then had an opportunity to meet with middle and high school teachers and then Clyde Brown teachers. And the teachers are able to provide input on their impressions of each candidate. So we're still on target to, we're looking to have that position, that candidate chosen before April vacation. So we're on target.
Great, thank you for the update.
And then enrollment, we picked up net one student as of April. So Clyde Brown's at 600 students, the middle school's at 289, high school 284, Ties is at 3. Out of district students remain at 22. So choice students 49. So total in district 1176, in and out 1198. So our our enrollment has been a little steadier this year than it was last year. We had a lot of move-ins this time of year last year. We didn't see that this year.
Okay. Were those, for the middle school, the new ones, were they the 6th grade or?
I think one was. Of course.
Of course.
How many kids is CFB supposed to hold?
585.
Wow. Okay.
But in addition, the design enrollment was 585. We added the preschool room, which wasn't covered by MSBA. So that room gives us flexibility. And so we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Okay.
But if every class got to 100 plus kids, it'd be crowded.
Yeah.
And second and third grade are crowded.
Okay, well, thank you for the report. Do we have any correspondence? Okay. I don't have any school committee announcements or old business, new business. Okay. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our meeting. We do not have executive session tonight. So I'll just quickly announce that our next meeting is April 28th, and then I will take a motion to adjourn.
Should we also state that we're going to be at Tri-Board on Thursday?
Oh, yes, yes. So the school committee will be attending the Millis Tri-Board meeting with FinCom and the Select Board on Thursday. It is a meeting open to the public. So if anyone's interested in listening or online or coming in and joining in, you can find the agenda online. And I think that's all we have. Okay.
To adjourn?
Second.
Okay, a move to adjourn has been, a motion to adjourn has been moved and seconded. Anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.